What's up, family? It's your main man, Coach Crump, and we're back with another great episode of the Boy Man King Pod. With my main man, Chizzy, say what's up with the people.
What's up to the people? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? All the way from way over this side of the planet. What's going on? What's going on? What's up, my guy? Nice
Yeah,
seeing you.
man.
I see your background. Where you're representing,
Before,
kid.
yeah, I'm representing. I always represent. Before we get into my background, I want to
Oh,
introduce our guest. And he's not a guest. He's our brother. He's our
that's family.
partner. He's our friend. He's our fam. None other than King Noel. Welcome to the platform again. Say what's up to the
Welcome,
people.
welcome, welcome,
What's
welcome.
going on, fellas? What's going
What's
on?
going
Y'all
on?
doing all
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man. Ready
Blessed, man.
right there.
Hey, look. Hey, the new haircut says it all. We live in 25. Like, it's going down. My man has starting anew, afresh. Yeah, man. The journey not just continues, but the journey can restart. Can I get an amen, somebody? You know what I'm saying?
You
Yeah,
can see
man.
where he's at right now, right?
So,
You can see
so,
his
so,
face.
hey, how does it feel, man? How does it feel? You know what I'm saying? What you back? You back to your college swag? What you back to your high school swag? Like, what's up with the haircut? Talk to the people, man.
Hey, I'm trying to get used to it, man. But I've been doing so much working internally. I
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
wanted to display outwardly the inward changes that I've been making. So
Yeah.
mm. I
it hit
feel
me
that.
one day, man. I went to the barber shop. I told him to cut it off.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
let's
you
go.
started already. You planted the seeds already, so we already know how this conversation is gonna go. But that's always good. That's what we're here for. We're gonna explore, a regeneration, rebranding, all of that. That's essential in the journey that we try to create for ourselves, as we know, man. For
Yeah,
sure,
but,
for
but
sure.
before we talk about that, Chizzy, how was it when you went to the barber? What type of cut you told him to give you? Like,
Yeah, boy, I tell him I wanted the MJ, the MJ, the MJ. And the MJ is synonymous with being a champion. So you may not know nothing about that.
I
Noel may
have
not
no,
know
I
nothing
have.
about that.
I know
But
about
the
being a
MJ, bro.
champion, but I don't know about going to the barber and saying MJ.
The
So
MJ. The MJ.
I never went to a
You
barber and
get
said
there.
MJ.
You'll
Yeah.
get there sooner than
Hey,
enough. I can
hey,
tell. It's
hey, hey,
thinning out.
but
You get
but
there.
I remember you saying you played with MJ. So did you use
Yeah.
his same barber?
Yeah. Sam Barber. Sam Barber. He put me on. That's a side conversation we had on the golf course. Sam
Yeah.
Barber.
All right. Now you're on the golf course.
You
All
ain't,
right.
you ain't, certain people ain't privy to that. He's a hater. He's a big hater. This my co-host. But we'll figure it out though.
Yeah, but what I love about us as men in this space, we talk about life on a real
Yeah.
level. So yes, we're doing this podcast, and shout out to King Noel and Relentless Motivation. Man, you're a man of many talents and gifts. You
So
also manage Boy Man King platform on social media, so thank you so much. But man, you also a speaker, you also an entrepreneur, you also a leader in your own right. You also a working professional. You're a man of morals and values. So, we just kind of want to talk about, man, with all of that, you know, it seems to be like, hey, you're doing okay, but you felt the need to, to recalibrate, to get a haircut, to do some work. So tell us
mhm.
now, man, why? Like, why is that all happening right now?
Man, it's been a journey. I think 2024 October November was when I finally woke up, man. Cause since 2023, I went into a deep depression.
Mhm.
November of 2023, I wanted to commit suicide.
Mm,
Man, it's been one thing after another, and then it's just like I came to the end of myself last November. And I started reading this book. A guy referred to me about emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
and I had started reading a lot of different books anyway because I would notice an area that I needed to work on, and
yeah.
then I said, okay, let me put the work in this area. It was just one area at a time.
Right.
So I would
Mm,
find a book on that specific topic, and I would do the work, and
mm.
on top of therapy.
Mhm.
Wow. So I think you said three things. Chiz, I'm gonna give it to you, but my man said therapy, independent reading, and do the work.
Yeah.
Chizzy, that's your space, man, emotional intelligence. So I get a flow
Yeah.
to
I
you.
mean, I think everyone can recognize that this is not something you just pick up and do. It has to be a part of your everyday experience because as life starts lifing, and Noel could speak to this, you could speak to this, I could speak to this, you got to be pulling from somewhere so that you have a way of centering yourself first. As we know, we talked about it. Noel does so many different things extremely, extremely well. And in order for you, him, all of us to be able to stay in that pocket and be able to deliver at a high level, you gotta take this seriously, and you have to take time, selfish time for self. Noel, I know you personally. Obviously, we talk all the time, but truth be told, like it sounds like it's a reveal. So even for me, in terms of being your friend and being somebody that we talk to regularly, like, and I guess this is a sign for other men. Like, how are we tapping into our brothers to ensure that we're giving them support, we're being able to be a
Mm,
resource to them,
Yeah.
we're being accessible to people, because life starts lifing. And sometimes when you look up, you're looking around, you're like, well, I know so many people, but so many people don't know me and don't know my struggles, man. So
Yeah.
I'm humbled to be able to hear that, you're open about what you've been experiencing over the last couple years, man. And so I'm gonna do my best to try to support you and try to find out from you, how are things going with you? How are you managing? What things have you done? Obviously we talk about therapy, but what does a day look like now that it didn't look like before?
mm.
That's allowing you to sort of transition and come into your kingship on a different level at this phase of your life, man. Talk to us.
Bruh, I'm gonna go back for a minute.
Yeah.
There were days I didn't think I was gonna make it through the day.
Mm.
And I mean, I was just coasting. And I had my life on literally a coast. I would make Crump's content, Boy Man King content, the month's content,
Yeah.
and that was it, and go to work. But because I was going through so much here and internally, what would take me about an hour, hour and a half to do would literally take me about 4 or 5 hours
Yeah.
because I was so down and I didn't even recognize it because I was just coasting. But it was the brothers, man, the brothers that made the impact in my life that carried me when I couldn't carry myself.
Sure.
And I'm learning. I had to learn just how important the brotherhood is.
Yeah.
Mm,
I now look at, okay, so what's the purpose of this person in my life?
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, it all started with Crump.
Mm-hmm.
2022, I told in December, I told my wife I wanted to go through I wanted to go to therapy, not just for myself, but for me and her too, because I knew that there were some issues I needed to work on.
Yeah.
mm,
Come February 2023, life hit me. And sometimes we procrastinate on stuff, and it takes a fire to happen for us to go get the water hose to put out a
mm,
fire that's already been there.
For sure.
mm,
And I was talking to Crump, and Crump paid for my first 2 sessions.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
That was the start of the work,
mm,
and it was a lot of work. I talked to Dr. Williams, and we was talking in November, and she was excited about how far I've come.
mm,
And even with doing that work now, every morning I'm getting up, I'm reading the scriptures, I'm praying. On the way to work, worship, either worship, something motivational, or I'm reading or listening to a book. At
mm,
work, I'm still doing the work. I'm listening to a book. I'm putting something into me that's positive because if we look around the world, it's so much
So
negativity
much.
around us.
Yeah.
mm,
So you have to make that conscious choice of what you're going to allow into your spirit.
mm,
So I had to come to grips with myself and make that decision of this is what I'm going to do. I can't continue to keep living in this space that I'm in. So it's definitely now the work of putting the work in for myself, prayer, reading the word, doing that therapy once a month. And all of that accumulated together is what my normal life looks like now. And staying in contact with the brothers.
Sure.
yeah, I love that, man. And one of the things I want to kind of challenge, Chizzy has said, we all learn and grow. No, we don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, we don't. Not only do we not all learn and grow, but we all don't know how to, like, so
Mhm.
much of being a man was getting a good job, in your mind, getting this good job, getting my people a place to stay, whoever that is, right? Getting some transportation, whatever that looks like, and providing, some food, some electricity. Like for most men, that's it. Like you did your job. And so my experience and experience with so many others, Chizzy included, our journey is like, nah, bro, you got to put in this other work that's not on the physical side, that's not on the employment side, that's all inside.
Yeah,
And you have to take the time to make it a priority to do that for yourself, number one, and then in these isolated skill sets of responsibilities, you may have a significant other, you may have children, you may are in a tight or challenging economy. So you talk about the multiple hats you got to wear from the. That's why I'm in Bermuda. You know what I mean? It's like you can't just say, yeah, this is how I'm doing things because I got a degree or my mom and daddy raised me. It's like, nah, you got to be in real time. Hey, do I have the ability or do I have the competency? Do I have the capacity to manage effectively what I have right now? Yes or no? If it's no, and I'm got resentment, I got tension, I got stress, I feel overwhelmed, that ain't on what somebody else should be doing. That's a sign and a confirmation of what you should be doing. Like there are some things you got to do so that you can better manage, cope with yourself and the responsibilities that your life has with you right now. And so I'm glad both of you are just kind of sharing. And I know Chizzy, you always kind of highlight your journey over the past 3 or 4 years of
yeah,
just saying, you've always been this talented, and we could get into all these roles that we have in the professional world and
sure.
sophistications and degrees, but that doesn't change anything about the work that you have to do as a man on yourself
Yeah.
on the inside with your mind and your heart to better manage your day-to-day life.
How was that communication like with your family members, with your wife, with your friends, in terms of like, because sometimes when we take these journeys and we start to now evaluate where we are emotionally, mentally, it's hard for people who obviously don't have a lived experience and not living and experiencing what you're experiencing. It's hard for them to actually be able to relate one and accept that there will be some changes that's necessary for me to be this person that you perceive me to be and me to function in these roles. Did you find it challenging, or what was the communication like, firstly with yourself? Obviously, we talked about that, but then with your loved ones and the people around you, so that, because even though you take a selfish stand, and I say selfish in the truest sense of the words, in terms of ensuring that you have a cup to pour from, a full cup to pour from, um, how was that received by the people in your life? Because truth be told, if you have nothing for you have nothing for anyone else. Was it difficult? Did you find challenges? Is there a teething process that still takes place with saying, hey, I need to take some necessary time to develop me and step back a little bit from those things that you know me to be, so that I can now continue to function at a high level and give you what you actually require of me? What was that like?
Man, I would say it was accepted. It was highly accepted. It was celebrated.
Yeah.
Mm,
Man, growing up, me and my mom never really had the best relationship.
mm,
Early on in my therapy journey, that was the first thing we started working on.
Hmm.
And it got to a point where my mom actually listened to some of the pain points that I had. And man, I'm a loner. Anybody that knows me, it takes a lot sometimes to pull it out of me of what's going on with
For
me.
sure.
I'm getting better with that now.
mm,
but but now I'm in a place, even with my mom, where I will call her and tell her, I got this going on, or
Mm.
that going on. And moms are gonna be moms. They're gonna worry. But I had to tell my mom. I said, Mom, you know what? I said, one thing about me, I'm gonna get through this. I said, I done been through a lot of stuff that, you'll be surprised about in my life. But not only am I gonna get through it, but trust the God that's gonna bring me through it.
Yeah.
And man, is even at work, man. I've been off for 3 weeks. Uh,
Wow.
we- and I was planning on working on some of my books, but instead I found myself doing more internal work.
Mm-hmm.
I went
Mm-hmm.
back to work this past Monday, and everybody was talking about how different I seem.
Mm.
Man, leading into everything that was going on in my life, I was reading the book of Joseph.
Yeah.
We all know the journey that Joseph went on. In the end, his family, the people that threw him in the pit, they had to face him again, but they
Mm,
didn't recognize him because
mm,
God had took him through such a journey that God was molding him. And I think sometimes we get it confused in those hard seasons where it seems
mm,
like God is punishing us, but in reality, God is really molding us
Yeah.
because the molding doesn't feel comfortable.
No.
Man, I faced
Trust
a
me.
lot of points and moments that felt totally uncomfortable for me.
mm.
And it was unbearable, but it was worth it in the end.
Come
Mm-hmm.
on.
So and to see how everybody is accepting the change, and some people still they struggle with it. But at this point in my life now, sometimes what my life is reflecting is a reflection of things that you probably need to work on. I can't
Right.
be responsible for how you receive me.
Come on.
I can't continue to carry that weight of making sure you're gonna receive me, or if I have to stoop down to that level to make sure I'm received, I gotta keep going up
Yeah,
because
I think that's such a good point, though. No, 2 points I want to highlight before you continue is one, you really highlighted the fact that you got clear, so everybody else got clear.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
The point I want to get the men, the point I want everybody to take away is that things became clearer around you because you got clearer with you. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I live by a quote, what you allow will continue. So how your life was kind of, in disarray or in a function. You even mentioned like, man, I did a better job being like a loner, but coming out and really speaking and articulating. And my mom was shocked and my staff was shocked. But it because they know you not to say nothing, for you to hold
right,
it all in, for you.
yeah,
So like they're behaving how you allowing them to behave as a lesser version of yourself by not just being who you know you need to be. That's number one. And number two, freeing of yourself of the responsibility of another human being's free will. Like
Yeah.
me and
Fact.
Chizzy talk about that. It's like that's huge. Like I just didn't want you to keep going and not take away those two huge points that men take on a lot. Where it's like one, I'm just supposed to hold it all in, and I ain't worried about nobody. I'm gonna figure it out. All of this. That's one. And then two, like I'm supposed to take care of everybody in the thinking of also what they think about me and how they respond to me and how they acquiesce to me. You have no control over that. Your responsibility to be the best version of you. Their
Yeah.
response to that lets you know where they're at with their battles, with their struggles, with their demons, with their insecurities, with their incompetencies. That's what's being exposed. It comes back to show that they're healthy too, or they have a healthy view of you, or they
Yeah.
have an unhealthy. Their response will tell you that. But it's not for you to go, is it something that I did, or now I got to go try to fix it with them? It's like,
People
nah, you have
please
you
and
have to.
all of that type of
Yeah.
craziness.
So I just wanted to
Yeah.
pause. Sorry to interrupt you, but I just really wanted to make sure you said two things that was very important, and also I think very powerful that a lot of men struggle with, and I wanted to highlight your growth in that area.
yeah. And I want to highlight something else and I feel this is real major for me that I had to change and let go of
Mm-hmm.
was my past. For me, the game bang and everything, that was like the highlight of my life.
Yeah.
Mm,
That was like the excitement of my life, and I was feeling like, okay, life is boring now. And
mm,
I'm sure there's a lot of guys who came from the game banging past that I have, it's sometimes a struggle because you leave that life. Now you feel like you're a punk, you feel like you're soft, and that's not the case. You're
Right.
becoming a new man. And compared to what the gang culture was saying, being a man is whack. But being a man makes you stronger than anything that you can even imagine.
Right.
It takes another level of strength to walk away from the stuff that you was having. And to finally let that go, I'm no longer that person anymore.
Yeah. The greatest part of this whole experience, even for me, was recognizing that I need to give myself grace and be able to
Mm.
say,
That part.
even though every day you make an attempt to, to be better and chisel away at that stuff. So you're trying to shape a dime, as the analogy goes. Some days, you gotta, some days are not good. Some, as the saying goes, every day is a fishing day, not every day is a catching day. I don't know if
Mm.
you're familiar with that saying, but simply put, some days are gonna be difficult. But those are the days where you really have to give yourself grace and allow and know that when you're going through a healing process and a reshaping process, that's a natural part of shedding old parts of you. Because before, like Crump said, like the identity of others on you gets projected on you, and then now you have to fulfill what you think other people think of you in terms of people pleasing, and be able to still hold yourself in a particular space that's not even healthy for the level that you're trying to achieve or the level that you're trying to go to. You know what I mean? And so I had to learn that myself and really, really put certain boundaries in place to allow people not to shape me in a way that's not conducive to where I'm trying to go. And that's a hard pill to swallow for some people, whether it's family members, whether it's your relationship you're in or your friends, because again, as you know, people are always trying to see you in a particular way. And when you determine that you have to make a shift, it's difficult for people to now receive you in a different way. Because as we know, people always trying to leave you in that box and keep you where you was, because that's how they can navigate the ideal that they have of you. But if that's not what your purpose is, and that's where God is trying to take you, then you have to allow for that to be completely shared and dismissed from the person that you're gonna be, and your loved ones may not like it. Good.
Yeah.
The good thing for you is they've been quite receptive. People around you have been very receptive to this new you, and they can see it. Something about it is it's the weirdest thing. It's like a glow. You can kind of see it in your eyes. It's a weird thing that's unspoken that you can kind of sense when somebody's, had some major shifts in their life for the better. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
that's an amazing journey to have to go through and to experience. And the journey continues. So this is a phase that we're in now. The good thing is you have the resiliency and you know what it takes, because the next level of you is going to require a different level. So you might have to go through this again at a different level. So as you transition to the different phases of life, I've come to understand there's a different level, that the level that you did when you was there is not sufficient for where you're trying to go. And so I think
Yeah.
that's progressive harnessing, the progressive shaping that's taking place when we go through these things, and only through the grace of God that we're able to come to do it. Because if we're looking at it through our carnal eyes and through our fleshly eyes, you continue to just revert back to the things that make you comfortable. But as you said, this is uncomfortable, and for you to grow and stretch, you got to be uncomfortable. When you go to the gym and do a couple push-ups, your chest hurts because it's uncomfortable. It's growing you, it's stretching you. So that's a natural part. So anybody that's listening and watching and listening, brothers, it's okay not to be okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. Don't get caught up in this hype of I'm a man and I have to over emasculate myself for the
Yeah.
purposes of appeasing other people. Nah, step back. It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah. And before you give, like a key takeaway that you want to leave with our community, Noel, I just want to highlight another part that I don't want to be overshadowed on what you just said too. And you said, yes, your past, but you also said it in the context of people struggling as men to go through the transition to be Unc and the OG. Some of us, once we hit our 40s, man, we have to accept the role we play in humanity society to be an OG, to be Unc, to the young bulls. Quit trying to stay with the young bulls. You not with them. We not with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not outside. You know what
I'm
I'm saying?
trying to
I'm
grab
not
me rep
outside.
no more. Yeah, I'm
Bruh,
trying
bruh, I'm not outside. You know
nah.
what I'm saying? I'm not about that life. I'm
Yeah,
inside.
yeah,
I'm very domesticated, and I'm
yeah.
very you can know exactly what's gonna happen with me Monday through Sunday. Like
But
there's not
also,
a lot
you're
of
accessible. You're accessible as well. Just because you're not
yeah.
there, you're still accessible on a different level.
Yeah, but I think what I because to Noel's point, it is a bit shocked to realize that you the OG now, that
Yeah,
you unk now.
yeah.
Like it ain't like an announcement. It's just like you be around some 20-year-old grown men and be like, "What's up, unk?" And you like,
Oh, you
who's
talking to
this
me?
guy talking to? He's like, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, now I haven't got a lot of OG, but I get a lot of unks now, and I realize like, crunk. Accept it, bro. Accept it how the people see it. Accept it how the young men need you in their life. They need a unk, someone that they can trust, they
Yeah,
can talk to, they to your point, Chizzy, have access to. And I think it's important, Noah, you
yeah,
highlight this too. Men just having these safe spaces of accepting the different phases of our lives. Like we're the wise men of our community. We're the
yeah,
wise men of our neighborhoods. We're the wise men of our families. We can't still be out here like, yeah, I'm trying to do my thing. I'm trying to get things popping. I got this event pop. Like we have to be more like we done been around the block. We done
hmm,
tried a lot of things. We done been through a lot of things, and we got to be that stabilizer, that anchor for the responsibilities and the relationships that we have in our lives. We still can't be out here willy nilly, but to Chizzy's point, we got to have that awareness to be like, I got to go recharge, bro. You know what I mean? I got to tap out because I'm low on fuel. I'm kind of losing my concentration. I'm kind of burned out a little bit. Whatever that is, you got to be smart enough to have the level of awareness, discernment, and ability to know when I don't have it together. I need to go recalibrate. Noel, you talked about counseling, you talked about reading, you talked about also doing the work. But I just kind of want to just really highlight some nuggets that you drop that I want to make sure guys got that it's okay to be OG. It's okay to be unk. It's okay to be big bro. It's okay to fulfill that while you're figuring out and while you're becoming a better version of you. So
I want
any
to I
lasting
want to
thoughts you guys want to share with our community?
I want to say something real quick to what you just said. A lot of men our age now who are in their 40s are still stuck in their 20s because they are arrested in development. And I'm not
mm,
talking about the
mm,
music group.
mm.
There are guys literally stuck in their arrested development because they love that lifestyle and they
Mm,
don't know how to live without that lifestyle.
mm.
Yeah, we could do a whole nother pod
Come
around,
on.
around being stuck in that grown man being stuck in that young boy and the
Mm,
attractiveness of that culture. Obviously, we talk about this a lot. We did a lot of work in that space. But to your point, not just even in as it relates to gangs, but in life, period. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Sometimes that our self image gets stuck in
mm,
that arrested development where you're like you
yeah,
and a lot of people can transition, and that's a big part of pride for a lot of men too, and
yeah.
recognizing
recognizing that, look, all right,
and fear and
yeah,
fear.
yeah, yeah, because
They
it's
don't want. They
uneven,
don't,
like
they
you
don't
don't
want.
know.
Yeah, they don't want to say that word, but let's say the word. It's
Yeah,
fear.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
facts,
Cause,
afraid,
cause some of it is you don't want that responsibility. Let's keep it a
sure,
Yeah.
buck.
sure,
You just want to do you. You just want to hang out, do you. Like you don't want the responsibility of being the person that people always look forward to, or bring bail out of a jam, or when people's backs up against the wall, they can always look to you. You don't want that responsibility too.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
it is a weight and a responsibility to come up. But to Noel's point again, your development got arrested along the way in a healthy way. By the time you got in your 40s, you should have had yourself at least in a position that you could stabilize yourself.
right,
And your example of that in their lives would be like they got an example of what a stable mature man is. They got an example of what a stable person is. And then they know what to look forward to when they get to your position in life or who to go to get some wisdom on how you doing it or how you making it look easy. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, we got to do a better job of accepting, to Noel's point again, of accepting the part of time that we're in life, and not wrestling with my past. And man, back in the day, I was, and man, what I used like. Okay, today we need you to be this
And
grown
tomorrow,
OG
we need you
or
to
up.
be,
You know what I'm saying? Like we need
yeah.
you to be that right now, and we need you to be okay with that. That's what we really need.
And that's a different level of self actualization when you get to a point where you can you come to terms with the person that you are now through personal development and growth, and now you're saying, all right, now I have a responsibility to the people coming after me to kind of help shape their identity because I have wisdom and experiences that's relatable to a certain population. And I think oftentimes we can focus a lot on ourselves, and that's important and necessary, but the next step is
Mm,
altruism and saying, all right, I've had my chance. Now let me grab another young man by the hand or by the
mm,
shoulder and try to mentor them and show them, what it's like in anticipation. Because sometimes wisdom, it can be learned through experience, but sometimes it doesn't have to be learned through experience. It could be learned through the knowledge and the shepherding of other people who have been through something, so that you don't have to go through things that somebody else has already been through. You know,
mm.
we don't often have to have those experiences. I try to tell my son that, like, you don't have to do certain things if you have expertise or knowledge from somebody that can say, "Hey, man, you should try this." That's okay. It's okay to receive that information and adopt it and put it in your toolbox. You don't have to have the experience just to say that you had it, so you can learn from it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the definition of wisdom,
yeah. Noel, man, what's your closing remarks for our people?
Man, one thing I would like to say, and Chizzy touched on it, is give yourself grace.
yeah, man,
You may make a few turnovers in the game, but that doesn't mean that you can't win the game.
for sure.
Mm,
If you keep pressing, if you keep putting in the work and keep God first, seeking God, doing the necessary work for you internally,
Yeah,
you will
mm.
come out winning the game. You have no choice but to win.
I love it. I
facts,
love it.
facts.
Chizzy, any closing remarks?
Yeah, man, brothers. We're here, we're resources. Hit us up. DM me, DM Crump. You could DM Noel. We're gonna drop his information in, at the bottom of this video. If you need a talk, if you need support, if you need mentorship, if you just want to have a conversation, somebody you could just rub shoulders with, just reach out to us, man. We're available. We have a responsibility just like the next man. So I offer that to anybody in the community. If you want to talk, if you want to reach out, man, I'm available.
Yeah, man. And with that said, follow us on Boy Man King on YouTube. Follow us also on IG at Boy Man King Talk. Man, send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email about what you'd like to hear more about on the platform. But
Mm,
please like and subscribe, and please share this episode with somebody if it was a blessing to you. King Noel and our entire team, man, we thank you so much. And as we say on the Boy Man King Pod, man, the journey
journey
continues.
continues. Yes,
Man,
sir.
we out, man. Be blessed. Thank you,
Bless.
guys.